this video, you will learn how to solve one-step equations by multiplying. Remember that equations require equally balanced sides on each side of the equal sign. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Let's say you have a quarter of a pizza, and it costs you $3. But you want to know how much a whole pizza would cost. Well, if you multiply that quarter of a pizza, or 1/4 of a pizza, times 4, that will give you one whole pizza. So whatever you do to one side, you'll need to do to the other side, so multiply the $3 by 4 also. Now we still have a balanced equation. One whole pizza equals $12, because $3 times 4 is 12. Example number 1, solve for x. X over 3 equals -5. Remember from the last video, the line stands for divided by. So x over 3 means x divided by 3. We need to get x by itself by undoing that division. Since it's being divided by 3, we can undo that by multiplying both sides of our equation by 3. Here you can see how to write it correctly. Putting the 3 in parentheses says that you're multiplying. This says that we are multiplying x over 3 times 3. Of course, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side of the equation. So we also need to multiply the right side by 3. Now let's focus our attention on the left side of the equation. We multiplied this side by 3 in order to get rid of the divided by 3. Let's think of it like two fractions being multiplied. So we can put a 1 under the 3, making it 3 over 1. Now when we multiply fractions, we can multiply straight across. So we would have 3 times x and 1 times 3. But you also remember that we can cross cancel. We have a 3 and a 3, both divisible by 3, so we can cancel them out. Now if we multiply straight across, we'll just have 1x over 1. Well, that's just x. So you can see how multiplying by 3 got rid of the divided by 3. Now we have to multiply the right side. -5 times 3 is -15. So we have to be sure that we have our solution written as x equals -15. Notice how when we multiplied in this problem, we did not use an x or a dot for multiplication. We just used parentheses. Using an x for multiplying can get confusing because it can look like an x or a variable. Using a dot can sometimes look like a decimal. So the best way to show multiplication is just to use parentheses. Example number 2, solve for x. X divided by -6 equals -4. In order to get x by itself, or isolate the variable, we have to multiply both sides by -6, since it's being divided by -6 right now. So we show multiplying by -6 by putting a -6 in parentheses, and we will write this on both sides of the equation. Now we're not going to show all the steps that we did in example 1. Some of that can be done in your head. Just remember that multiplying by -6 undoes dividing by -6. So when we put this times -6 on the left side, all we have left is x. Then on the right side, we have -4 times -6, which is +24. So our solution is x equals 24. Example number 3, -x divided by 2 equals -7. Having that negative sign on the top with the x is the same as having the negative sign on the bottom with the 2 instead. Remember, if you multiply or divide a positive and a negative number, the answer is negative. The same thing works with fractions, since fractions are really just division. So we're going to get rid of the 2 and the negative in one step. We're going to multiply both sides by -2. On the left side, we have just x. That's because the negative times a negative is a positive, and the fact that we're multiplying by 2 undoes the divided by 2. On the right side, -7 times -2 is positive 14. So our solution is x equals 14. Example number 4. Negative 2/3 x equals negative 8. Now we have an entire fraction being multiplied times the x. Since we need to get x all by itself, we're trying to get 1x. So we need to make that negative 2/3 into 1 by multiplying. If we multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, or its flipped version, it will equal 1. Don't forget the negative. So we're multiplying both sides of this equation by negative 3/2. Think about multiplying straight across. That would give us positive 6/6, which is just 1. That's the whole reason that we're multiplying this by the reciprocal of 2/3. Then we also have to multiply the right side of the equation by negative 3/2 as well. On the left side, remember, we just have 1x, which we will write as x. And then on the right side, I have a little trick that I use to remember how to multiply a whole number times a fraction. That makes it so you don't have to put a 1 underneath the whole number. The top number of the fraction is what you multiply by, and the bottom number of the fraction is what you divide by. So you can either think of this as 8 times 3, which is 24, then divided by 2, which is 12, or 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and then times 3, which is 12. You can think about the positive and negative signs later. Since we had a negative times a negative, the answer is positive. So our solution is x equals 12. Now you should know how to solve one-step equations by multiplying. Thanks for watching.